So welcome back to another Sunday live stream at Trace Trades. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you click the link in the description to join the server so you could watch the stream live. It's completely free to watch and is open to everyone. Those of you in the stream, I'm just going to go through the weekly watch list and then we'll be able to open the floor up for Q&A and chart requests. So to get right into the list, first we have Activision ATVI. This bottom support is especially strong on this name, especially with all the selling that we've been seeing. It is possible that we see something like a head and shoulders here, but we'll see how it reacts when we touch the 50 here. In any case, this breakout from this upper trend line here should give us a nice little boost to test the 50, which is more than enough points for us to make some money on maybe a quick options trade. We also have FB on the list. Again, it's the same sort of pattern that we've been seeing develop for quite some time now, ever way back to September. So with this pattern, we also saw a nice little break in the previous weeks, and we came back down to retest this past week, and we held above. It's very, very likely, in my opinion, that we see some nice move upward as long as we get some backing from the broad market. We also have GM as a repeat from last week. This has just been developing really well as it sort of climbs steady and steady up. We held the 50 here and we were able to average our longer term position. If we get a nice little break above 57, I feel like GM would be once again nice for a shorter term trade to perhaps catch the move from 57 to all-time highs around 62. We also have Google, same range as before. It tested and held the 50 twice, so I really want to see some volume start to flood in as we retake some of these MAs and play towards the upside of the range. Same sort of look as before. We're just using this range to play the upside, and then we could cut below in the downside since we have this nice little gap. Or we could play a short for the downside here. Also have JPM on the list. Financials overall are looking kind of strong, which is not surprising, but not something I really would have expected in this environment. JPM holding up very, very well. We got this nice little channel here. We did fall out in the beginning, but since it's held very nicely, especially the last 3 days of last week, we got the hold here, and then a nice little gap and boost up. Now we have backing from the MAs as we go to test the midline of our channel here. We also have PTON on the list. Really, I just like PTON because it looks like we're bouncing off this little demand zone. And again, it looks like we have this nice little H pattern here that we've been talking about. And then hopefully this H, as long as we see some buying, it'll turn into a W. And we'll see the upper move that way. We also have Run on the list. I was debating adding this one or not. There might be some stronger names out there, but this one looks pretty decent. We lost this support here, retested, but since we've been in this nice little pennant, if we could break this pennant and go to test the upper trend here, or perhaps the 50 SMA first, whichever, we could use that as a sort of take profit zone as we play against like these lower supports. Tesla is another name that we had on last week. Again, still trying to confirm this inverse head and shoulders here. It looks like we are holding decently, but I really just want to see some pull away from this level. We started to do that at the beginning of last week. Had this nice little gap up here, but it failed to hold and started selling off again. We need to push through like these upper levels and then eventually break this like 713 level for it to be totally confirmed here. But as far as short-term trades go, you could take longs with risk towards either our neckline here or the shoulder height here, or you could be a lot more risk. You could be a lot more risky and put your stop at these lows down here. W again, saw the breakout that we were hoping for, then it sold off, regained this trend line here, and regained this first little resistance zone that we expected. I would play longs off of sort of momentum here, so make sure your MAs are backing, and then perhaps a trend retest on this 343 level. So the list isn't that long this week. I feel like a lot of direction is going to be determined by the market, and then at that point the setups aren't going to matter as much, which is why we just see a lot of like neutrality when you look at any setups. It just looks like, oh, this could bounce or it could fall. So we really want to see what the broad market does. Speaking of the broad market, if we pull up SPY, We are still respecting this little channel, which has been keeping us relatively secure since way back in December and January. What I'm really looking for now is that since we got back into this channel, I want to see another break of all-time highs, because that'll confirm that the trend is still going if we get a higher high. Lower highs make things a lot more murky in terms of where we're going in broad trend. And if we pull up the NASDAQ, I have a little dotted line here to show like what might be a possibility if we just are able to blow through this top trend line, retest the 50, perhaps blow through that as well. I'd probably be targeting 324 there. More realistically though, if we reject here, I do expect this bottom trend line to break. This isn't that strong of a support. Mainly looking at this level here, this like 312 level, and then this demand zone below for perhaps more longs off of that. All in all, I'm definitely bullish in the broad market, but I'm still not increasing my size. My size has been reduced since I think we first announced it at the beginning of February. So my size isn't going back up just yet, but I am bullish, and I might start to consider some hedges if we push up any more from here. But that's all for the Sunday stream. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description so you could watch it live with the rest of us and participate in the Q&A session we're about to have.